Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 49 of Genn and Millie, where a Gen Xer and a millennial share the strength-based perspective through which they view the world. We are your hosts, Allison, Jen, and Tess, Millie. Genn and Millie.
Okay. Need to clarify.
Well, as opposed to Mel and Jenny.
Mel and Jenny?
Did you not see the package we received?
No. We received a package?
Wait a minute. I thought you saw it.
No.
It's back on my desk. It's from our friend from DC.
No way.
Yeah, I got sent to the Lincoln office and it says Mel and Jen.
Oh my gosh.
And it's the Jackie Robinson story. Remember how she referred to him as the original teammate? Yeah, so sweet.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway, yeah,
Oh,
it's our
know
purple-haired, awesome
Yes.
Wizard of Oz friend.
Oh my gosh, Joan.
Yes, Joan. So we got a package that went to the Lincoln office because I assume.
That's what pops up probably when you search for us.
So anyway, that came through the mail, and there is a whole email dialogue where one of the Lincoln coordinators reached out and said, I don't know who these people are, and I don't know who Boomer is.
No.
Because she refers to herself as Boomer because she's a baby boomer. So the whole email dialogue is in there.
Oh my
It is
goodness.
classic. Anyway, it's back on my desk. I thought because of the cat blanket that you had put it there.
No. Oh.
So,
my
side
gosh.
story, I just returned from a wonderful trip in Grand Lake, and I'm apparently not on vacation very often because once I leave on vacation, people leave cat memorabilia all over the place because they know my strong dislike of felines. So I get back, and there's a cat. I mean, I don't even, who would create this, but it's a cat beach towel.
Beach towel. Yep.
That was draping my seat, and I knew exactly where it came from.
Yep.
So
family household.
because of that, I assumed that you had seen the package
I did
from
not
our
know.
friend Joan. And thanks, Joan, for thinking of us.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, I'll
I'm
show
so
it to you
excited
back
see what
there.
it is.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Oh my goodness. So
Surprises.
Surprises. Okay, so what'd you love most about vacation? We've talked about vacation a few times on here
Um,
in terms of what you like and what you like to do.
I left my phone behind, and I discovered a trick. And I'm sure that all of you on here know this trick, but I didn't. And it took me probably 45-minute session with Lauren to figure it out. But the do not disturb,
Yeah.
you can modify it to say whatever you want it to say. And you can say do not disturb and say that you're driving even when you're not driving. So I modified it to say, I am currently off the grid. And if there's an emergency, contact Kim. And Lauren said, well, what happens if they don't know Kim? And I said, then they shouldn't be texting me.
Then it wouldn't be an emergency if you don't know Kim.
So I set that. And I also set my out of office to say I wasn't going to be looking at my phone. And I did fairly well. But I will say, Tess, one of the greatest learning pieces from this time away is how addicted I am to my phone.
Absolutely.
So it's good to truly be in the moment. Even times when we were sitting, at dinner, or we were sitting out appreciating nature. Sorry, girls, but they were on their phones. Mm-hmm. And then when you're not on your phone, you're even more cognizant, and you start kind of twitching because you don't know what to do with your hands or yourself. Mm-hmm. And so I just sat there and observed.
I love it.
So that was probably the best part. The second best part. Always. I love hiking Adams Falls. It's a deeply spiritual experience for me. I've been going to Grand Lake for 10 years as respite. This was my 10th year. And I love it there. And each year we try something new. We did try something new with the Sulphur Springs. I will not be doing that again. Triggered all my germ issues.
Oh my gosh.
Have you ever been?
I've been to hot springs before.
Oh yeah, hot
But it's
springs.
like-
So
oh, yeah.
15 pools of
yeah.
other people in them.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah, so like a hot tub without the Clorox.
It's like your worst nightmare.
It is. It was a hot tub without the Clorox with all kinds of things floating around in there, and they were 110 degrees.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, it stinks.
Yeah.
So the first one we walked into is enclosed, not out in nature, but enclosed.
Yeah.
It stunk so bad. I said, if I
my
have to be in here, it was like you've probably never seen the movie Cocoon. There were a lot of people much older than me. And I said, I cannot be in the inside. So I kind of stretched out and did my own thing. And as a result, there's a great picture that once I get all my pictures uploaded to social media, there's a great picture that Erin took of me. It's at the furthest pool away from everything, and it's kind of tucked away. And every time we were there, it was super busy. I happened to go explore and find it. I was there all by myself, just me in the pool, and it overlooks the Colorado River and looks at the mountains.
Oh,
so
that's beautiful.
Yeah, but it still was gross, and my skin smelled like sulfur for 2 days.
Oh,
it's supposed to be really good for you.
Okay.
Can you tell? Like I've aged in reverse.
You just seem so jittery and anxious and even talking about it. So maybe it's good for some people and good for not other people.
It is. There was a lady that we met there who comes every year from Chicago. She's done it now for 8 years. She spends a week and literally is in that stinky pool every day for hours on end. Stays at the lodge that's right next door that is, I mean, it looks like from the movie Psycho. So Erin is so good. Erin's so good about stretching me and getting me to do things that I are new to us. So next year, let's horseback ride instead.
There you go. Oh my goodness, that's so fun. Oh man, so in my news, I've passed my 50th book of the year, which is so exciting.
We should develop a way to do, like audio clips in here, like a yay.
Yeah, that takes a lot of sound editing, and I'm just
think we make our own. We can just make our own.
Yeah, make our own. But then you have to find the times to insert it in there. One of my favorite podcasts, though, I think I talked about it on here. It's called Ologies, and they do that, where they do little voiceovers or like drum rolls or all these little funny things that they insert into the podcast. So anyway, not at that level.
50th book.
50th book, yes.
Which has been your favorite one so far?
Oh my gosh, I don't even think I can answer that.
One that you liked.
One that
you would recommend to any reader, not
Ooh.
your kind of reader.
One that I would recommend to any reader. I think that's really hard because I read very niche things.
Were they all niche-y?
Most of them, almost all of them.
They're all historical, autobiography.
Not as much autobiography. I've done a few autobiographies, mostly a lot of personal self-help, and then a lot of Christian books. And so one of the ones I really liked, and a person that I love, and he's big into knowing yourself though too, is Richard Rohr, and he's a big Enneagram guy. Yeah. And he runs the Center for Contemplation and Action out of Santa Fe. And he's a priest in the Catholic Church, and his latest book came out this year. It's called The Universal Christ, and I really appreciate it because it's very a very universalistic thing about, but he just says things in a challenging way. And this was 2 books ago. I just recently read it, so it's really stuck with me. Christ was known for the radical people he included, not the way he excluded people. And
I like that.
Just a lot about, if you can't love one thing, you can't love anything. Following the gospel is radical love for everything and everyone. And one of the things he talked about was, and what I love from my context perspective was the fact that all of the denominations and the separation in churches now, and he makes this joke of, did you really think God waited until after he sent his son, after the resurrection, after this, until they got to white evangelical Christian culture to fully reveal himself and his truth, right? And so it was a lot of really challenging and saying probably the Jewish heritage, and even before that there were billions of years prior to really the Jewish people being set apart in the time of ancient Egypt, and before that, where he kind of made a call to action that God has always been speaking to us through creation, through people. God is in all people and in all things, and let us not just be the image, but be in the likeness of Christ. And so just really challenging, I think.
I know really that Maria Shriver's a big fan of his.
Yeah. He I think all of his stuff is so applicable, even if you don't call yourself a Christian or don't go to church. He just really calls for a way to love people and love the world really well. And he comes from such a place of contemplation. He drops that word all the time, and that's my word of the year. So I'm my word of the year, I should have also done a year of Richard Rohr if I really thought about it.
Those things just kind of, as law of attraction states, will just continue to show up.
Yeah.
Anne Lamott is, I can't get enough of her stuff right now. So I've poured through 2 of her books, just boom, boom, which they're really quick reads, but they're amazing. But she has a very similar approach.
Yeah.
And I've heard her many, many, many times on podcasts, her little quotes, but I've never read any of her books. Oh. And she is hilarious. and very deeply, she's deep in her faith for all the reasons that she could be mad.
Yeah.
And that's what I really like about it.
Yeah.
So
that's good.
Okay.
Anyway, so that's been good. That's what was sticking with me.
Yay, 50th.
I've been yay 50th, and we're gonna have our 50th episode next time we record. And so I'm thinking we have to do something like super special.
Okay.
Because it's 50th.
Like
so
what? Can we have cake? I just need cake.
Sure. We can.
Emotional eating.
Love it. I've been stress eating lately. You've been emotional eating lately. It's been really great around here. Oh, man. But we'll think of something. If anybody has an ideas, let us know how you want us to celebrate episode 50. But
Okay,
yeah.
I'm taking notes. We'll put a little bit about Richard Rohr on the worth mentioning.
Yep.
And we want your recommendations for
50th.
Mm-hmm.
How do you celebrate your 50th birthday party? Alrighty. So I do have something that I wanted to do today, though. When you always ask about, oh, what should we do? And we never plan this. It just kind of comes and happens. And but this exercise has kind of been stirring in my mind lately. I got the opportunity the very first week of August. So for a month ago, 3 weeks ago, I got the opportunity to go to the Learning Symposium that was hosted by the Green Hills AEA, which is essentially like the ESU, the Education Association in Iowa. They're called the AEAs, and this was Green Hills, and they did an incredible job. It was 2 full days of learning. We talked about resiliency and being trauma informed and trauma proactive, and we talked about mindfulness in the classroom, and it was mostly educators, all kind of in the southwest Iowa area, and just incredible. I mean, we were some of the only attendees of the conference that weren't educators, but it was the week before school started. Mm-hmm. So it was all these people that were like, the week before school, let me go to a conference about school. Like a lot of, we sometimes see the very kind of negative perspective of education, working with teachers who might not want kids to leave the classroom during the mentoring time, or might feel frustrated by all the work that's involved in running the teammates program. So oftentimes I feel like we have not the greatest perception or interactions with a lot of educators. And we love educators. I'm from a whole family of them. But sometimes that's just the reality of expectations of curriculum and test scores and what needs to happen within a classroom. And so I loved being in the presence of educators that wanted to make their classrooms and their classrooms the safest space, their schools a better place, and want to see their kids really do incredible things in life. And so it was so cool to be there, and the energy around that, and then just being so welcomed and so appreciated for being there as teammates. Like I was just a participant. I brought Alexa, our intern, along with me, and we just attended sessions. We had a few other staff members that were running kind of a vendor booth, get to know teammates, which was awesome as well. But I literally just attended sessions all day, and it was wonderful.
Isn't that great?
It was so wonderful.
That honors your learner.
So honors my learner. And just to be there, I wore a teammates t-shirt every day, and we talked a lot in most of the sessions about, who's in the room. And so getting to share a bit about teammates in most of the sessions was great. But one of my favorite sessions, there were so many great sessions. One of my favorite was about kind of trauma-informed and trauma-responsive, being trauma responsive within the classroom, specifically regarding mitigating culturally sensitive trauma. So it was the lady who ran this, and I don't know the name off the top of my head. I feel like I should have her information here. I downloaded like her whole presentation after the session, but she is an education consultant, and she worked in Denver Public Schools for several years with a large ESL. She's an ESL teacher, and she worked with kids from, it was over the course of her like 5 or so years teaching, it was over 50 countries. She had minimum 10 languages spoken at any given time in her classroom. People coming, mostly refugees, coming from really extreme places of poverty and violence and fear for their life. And so understanding that, there's a lot that impedes learning in the classroom when you come from trauma, right? And so that's the whole perspective of being trauma responsive within the classroom, is understanding that your time with this student might be the only time they have a safe space, might be the only time that they feel, or could be the potential to be the only time that they feel accepted accepted and able to just
Belonging,
be a kid,
yeah.
a sense of belonging, because their home might not be the safest, their background might not be the safest. And so she really talked a lot about like the trauma brain, and if you have trauma, you're working from really a brain of scarcity and survival, which is the opposite of a healthy functioning brain, which first functions from learning and openness and acceptance. And so many great pieces of information, but one of the things that really stuck with me is an exercise that I wanted to do on Genn and Millie to share with our listeners. I think it'd be a really cool thing to do with your mentee. And I think it's a really great exercise around values and around relationships in our lives, while it not being like, okay, tell me about your values or tell me about the people in your life that support you. And she worked with an elementary classroom. And so this was an exercise that she did. And I can tell a little bit about what then she did as a teacher as a result of this exercise. But I just thought it was a cool one.
We'll find out her name by the time this episode is over, so we can give her credit.
Definitely. We'll give her credit. But this is called, and I'll give this researcher credit for the actual exercise, is dialectic behavior therapy is what it comes from. It's a mindfulness exercise for children and adolescents, and it's the citation is Christensen 2009.
Okay, say that again.
Dialectical behavior therapy.
Okay.
Is where it kind of comes from.
DBT. DBT.
DBT.
Boy. Math is hard, and so is the alphabet.
DBT. So it's called DBT, and this is called the DBT House. So what I'm going to have us do is we're going to draw a house, just the outline of a house, and I'm going to do it with you. And your house, you might hear a little bit in the background as we draw our houses. So draw your house however you want to draw it. And your house needs to have the house itself, a roof, walls, a door, a chimney, a window, and a billboard.
A billboard?
A billboard outside your house, which is, I think, a little funny too, but because I know you would not be anywhere near a billboard with your house. But
this used to be my favorite thing to do as a kid.
Yeah.
Sketch out
your future home. So yes, everything you would think of as a traditional, I would say, suburban home, with all your windows and your doors and your chimney, and then you need a billboard.
Many windows. Wow, am I singing today? And a billboard.
A billboard.
Ugh.
Sorry.
I know.
It's a good thing. It's a good thing.
I'm just thinking. Okay.
So.
Thinking of a for sale sign. That's what this looks like. Sorry.
Billboard. It does a little bit. Okay. So, what we're going to do now is, now that you feel like you have your house kind of in good shape, and this is like the simple version. There's a more advanced version. But on the foundation of your house, we're going to write the values that govern our lives. The ideas or the ways of being that are important to us. On the walls, we're going to write anyone or anything that supports us. On the roof, we are going to write, and we're going through this fast because I don't want all these dead pauses in the middle of our podcast. Like, hold up, fast forward 15 seconds to get to the end of us writing. On the roof, write people or things that protect us.
Ooh.
Sorry. This is why I said it may be tear-inducing.
This could be tear-inducing. Okay. That protect us.
Protect us. That protect you.
So they can be the same as the people on the walls.
They could be the same as the people on the walls. And it also can be things as well.
Oh.
So people or things in both cases.
Okay.
Yep, people or things that protect you, or anyone or anything that supports you.
My shield, right? That's what my shield is. When we were in Grand Lake, Aaron used that phrase. I'd use my shield. Okay.
Okay. On the door, things that you keep hidden from others. And she said this could be a symbol, if you wanted to, if you don't want to fully throw out your deepest, darkest secret. Yep, it could just be some sort of indication that you know of what you keep from others. Okay. A chimney.
Yeah.
On the chimney, write ways that you blow off steam or reduce stress.
Okay.
So eating would be included for both of us. Healthy and unhealthy,
Healthy
right?
and unhealthy.
We all have healthy and unhealthy coping mechanisms.
I have so many of those.
I know, right?
My little chimney's not big enough.
On your billboard, write, see, there's purpose for the billboard.
Okay.
Something that you're proud of that you want others to see. We ask people to say something they're proud of all the time. You can't pause.
That I want people to see?
Yep, something you're proud of that you want others to see. Okay, and then in the window, final one, a window.
Okay.
A goal, a vision, or a dream that you have for your future.
This is like an awesome vision board.
Yeah. Okay, so what'd you think?
I love this. We should use this at Strengths Day.
Oh my gosh, it's such an awesome exercise. So she gave all these examples, and for her it was a lot of looking at, right, a trauma-informed perspective, looking at what could potentially be areas that are missing from a kid's life, right?
Yes.
Like she's working with young kids here. So she talked a lot about like if they don't have anything that they can write on the walls,
Right.
nobody that supports them, right? There was one, she gave an example of a student that said he blows off steam through guns. And so there was a coping mechanism or something they've done that they're proud of was something negative. And so there were all of these examples of things that just through the purposes of something simple like drawing this out, that she could see gaps, places that they aren't supported, ways that they might cope in a negative way that could help them. Maybe she could loop in the guidance counselor, loop in maybe the principal, loop in maybe other youth serving organizations that could help support some of the kids in her classroom.
So she does this with her students.
Yep.
And they can process, well, of course they can.
Yeah.
They can process all of these questions.
Absolutely.
So I caught myself getting caught up in, what does that mean? Define that for me. But if you would have given this to me as a second grader, I could completely...
It would have been fine,
yes.
right? And so she does this right in the fall. And then she says she does this incrementally throughout the year again to see how things change, right? As a way to measure progress. And that was such a cool thing because it really is like a vision mapping. It's a way to see all of the ways that we're supported and loved, but also the ways where maybe we don't cope with life in the best way, right?
I like this a lot. I think we could do this for a Strengths Day activity, and we could add, where would we add, what are your strengths? Would we add that on the sidewalk?
Yeah.
I feel like that could totally be a lower level
around,
of, the foundation, but then we could have a balcony and we could have a basement. And
So this is the advanced one, and I'll show pictures of this there, but Allie's just seeing this now, where it's a house, very similar, all the same similar things, but then there's 4 levels to the house. There's
I
like a
like that.
downstairs and upstairs, that's 3rd level and a 4th level, and then so it's even more advanced where you still do the window and the foundation, all of those things again, but then level 1 is list the behaviors you're trying to gain control over, areas of your life you want to change. Level 2 is list or draw emotions that you often experience, that you want to experience more often, more fully, or in a healthier way. Level 3 is list all the ways you are happy, or the things that you want to feel happy about. And then level 4 is list or draw what your best life would look like.
so what I love is this is designed for young students. And yet here we all are as adults. Almost everyone that I do coaching with, that I do sessions with, that we have conversations with, we're all still searching for that.
Yeah, I love it. So would you mind sharing a little bit of specifically what you put down?
Sure. What would you like to know?
I don't know.
Let's start with where my foundation is.
Yeah.
Well-being, connection, engaged, love, joyful hope.
Yeah, absolutely.
That is the absolute foundation of what matters most to me. What was interesting is that none of this has to do with, I don't have anything here that says career.
Yep.
And I don't have anything here that says money or stability.
Yeah.
On any of it.
Which that might look different for another person, right?
Right.
If that's what they want to show as success,
right? But what I'm thinking is, for me, just to even see that,
yeah,
that helps me piece together, okay, it is never going to be about this for me.
And it also helps you put your own life into context, right? Your own specific place in life. And it can help you guide decisions, because you're never going to make a decision out of what is the most lucrative.
Right. So where I am supported, my siblings also were up on the roof as my protectors. I am very, very grateful for that. I have friends that are like siblings, and I would say the same thing, both the supporters and the protectors. Mentors as supporters, a supportive workplace, a supportive family. My protectors, my shields. Purpose was something that I wrote. My purpose is a shield, I think, for me, and a protector for me, that keeps me grounded in hard days.
Yeah,
that absolutely. I truly believe that I know that I have something to contribute.
Absolutely.
Siblings, friends, teammates. Let's see, my chimney has running, kayaking, meditation, time away, reading, music, and cleaning. And I could have made 5 more, which is also really helpful for me to look at. I have coping mechanisms.
Yeah.
And sometimes I don't spend the time. So I haven't worked out in a month now. And it messes with me.
Yeah.
I know that's what I need.
Yep.
But I have been
second one that you listed,
pushing away from it. Haven't kayaked but once all summer.
Yep.
And for whatever, when you're in a place of dark or swampy stuff, you just tend to hunker down and think, I think I'll just sit here or lay here or be sad. And that's something I need to remind myself I have the coping mechanisms that I need. My windows say travel, security, and by security it just means more safe, feeling safe, and then peace. And my door has anger, insecurity, and fear. And my billboard, that's really good metaphor. My billboard is strength. I am very proud of my resilience.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So cool.
Okay, I want to hear about yours.
Wow,
okay. Yours is good.
Mine is not good. This was way scrambled
you
together.
Sketch
I'm sorry.
like you have handwriting. Okay, so I know none of you can see. Well, you're going to show yours.
Maybe
you will.
Yeah. I'll take
your
a picture.
handwriting is always very precise and beautiful.
I do not think this is so scratchy. I'm sorry.
But maybe it just it just flows. Have you ever thought about handwriting in relationship to strengths?
Oh, I feel like it's totally there. I think of April in Wilcox Hildreth.
Yes.
Discipline.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
And her handwriting. Oh yes. Okay.
Okay. There's a little
interesting.
Side note.
Okay. There's a little side note. Yeah. Tell us about your handwriting.
So
give us a handwriting
you tell
sample.
me what you think that is. If that is not learner handwriting, I don't know what.
I think it's learner. I think it's probably some connectedness.
Also
too.
Context.
Context. Absolutely.
Strategic.
Input. Yep. Okay.
All right.
So a lot of that. Most of them. Okay. So for my foundation, and I was trying to proctor you through it as well, so I didn't put as much on this one. I'll fill in more. But so for the values, the things that came first to me was learning. And I've always kind of talked about that as the value of enlightenment. To me, like a lot of life is continuing to grow and to learn and to be open to whatever comes next. Faith, and then open-mindedness. For the walls, things that support you, I have lots of support systems, which is great. I put my parents, my boss, I put you, a couple pastors at my church, my siblings, my friends, and then I also put things that support me. So books, education systems, things like that.
Yes. Good.
So I've also had great professors and people within education that have supported me. Through the roof, people or things that protect me. I put my church, my friends, and I put teammates here. Like I feel like this is this was like this is a little bit of a family to me, not being super close to my family. So that's kind of what protects me. For my door, things I keep hidden from others. I keep hidden my weakness all the time. I'm such a have to show that I am strong and I can handle myself, and you know all about this. I have a new coaching with Allie, and so
it's okay.
Needing to protect the fact that I have potential vulnerabilities, which I aimed and I try to be vulnerable, but I know I'm very selective and guarded in what I choose to be vulnerable with, and so I protect things I like to keep hidden is that I am weak in some areas. And the chimney, ways that I blow off steam, I put running too. That's become a great coping mechanism for me again, which is awesome. I put eating, stress eating, that's a negative one. And then I put silence, like silent solitude, prayer, and journaling. And then the billboard's something I'm proud of that I want others to see. I feel like other people see this already, which is great, but I'm really proud of the way we have come with research here in Teammates. I know we're going really great places, but I think I've really strived to improve and measure the things that are really important to our values as an organization. So we've changed a lot.
And to measure them with integrity.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
That is an incredible piece that you have brought.
Yep.
Is we now have measurements.
Yep.
That we can say are actually
for
being
sure.
done with integrity.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I'm all about that. And so I just think that that's a cool thing that I am proud of, and I'm thankful that other people get to see it because we share a lot of our data with people and the impact of Teammates. And I know we're going to even bigger and better places, but I'm very proud of that aspect. And then vision or goal and dream I have for the future, more education, like finish up my master's. I put just personal growth, just in terms of seeing myself grow, and I always talk about smoothing out the rough edges, talk about all my pet peeves and the things that drive me nuts about people sometimes. And so I really love the idea. My vision for the future is to be someone that can love everybody, and I have to choose intentionally that every day. But I hope that it gets easier with time.
Have you seen Pink, her recent challenge?
No.
It's to not criticize for one day.
Wow.
Criticize no one.
Ooh.
For one day.
Oh my goodness. That's hard. I don't even know how to regulate those thoughts in my head, but yes.
I don't even know if it's thoughts. I think it's just out loud.
Out loud? Oh, okay. Out loud, maybe I can handle that, but okay. And then I put traveling. One of my goals is to travel to all 7 continents in my lifetime, and so I am partially there. So, was that it? And the window. Yep.
I love this activity. I really think we should use it for Strengths Day, but give people lots of time to ponder.
Yes. Yeah.
And to decorate their house.
Yes, absolutely.
So I was thinking we could give them even, like give them things that they could add to it. Like give them pictures, bring in lots of old magazines and let them cut out images.
And even just curate a list of other things, right? Like where your talents come out. I drew on my original one during this session. We got a little bit more time, but I did windowsill planter boxes. Yeah. And so even to do something like what helps you grow, like what cultivates your growth.
It's super,
we can think of other ways.
It's super similar to us doing the who are you, what do you love, what do you need?
Yep.
But doing this in a way that also identifies how we could do this with our mentee, which is a great practice activity.
Absolutely.
But also looking just even in the room and understanding that everyone's house looks different.
Yeah.
And back to being trauma informed, I just read a little Glennon Doyle piece over the lunch hour about, that quote, everyone is fighting a hard battle, be kind.
Yeah.
She has this graphic, and if I can find it, I'll send it to you so you can add, or I can add it to the worth mentioning. It's a graphic that shows how much you know about someone and how much you don't know. And what you know is this tiny little sliver. And that's really applicable when it comes to our mentees.
Absolutely.
You never see the full school day. You never see the full school week. You never see them in their element at home.
Yeah.
But the assumptions that we make. Yesterday I trained a new group of trainers. And we talked pretty extensively about how as mentors we have to leave our expectations at the door.
That's good.
And that's really hard for me. In general, in life, I have been really pondering this recently. If my kids 5 years from now, 10 years from now, were to describe their childhood, would they refer to their mom as intense? So you missed seeing Lauren. Lauren spoke at Kiewit, and she told her mentoring story, and she said, And I was very proud of her. I didn't prompt her. I didn't give her the script. She sent it to me and said, could you print this for me? I'm not going to be back in the office before I need it. I said, okay. And I read it and I was like, oh, I might change that. And I didn't. I left it alone. And I was very, very proud of her. But one of the things that she did after is they took questions from the group. And Lauren said, I think most of you in here probably know my mom because I've trained a lot of those mentors and a lot of people in the room knew me. And she said, my mom is like this. And you can't see me here, but it's the, I have my hand flat. It's the chopping block. My kids probably see me as extraordinarily strict and high expectations. She said, I just needed someone who had a different voice than my mom's.
Yeah.
And it's really struck me about managing expectations.
Absolutely.
All the time with all my interactions. When I get irritated, pet peeves are triggered. When I'm thinking about, why is this person doing this? And totally taking it personal, thinking they're doing this because they want to get at me. Managing my own expectations. We use the phrase, meet people where they are, often. I don't really think that we're diving deep as to what that means. We use the term servant leadership around here often. I don't really think that we have all the same definition of what that means, because servant leadership would never mean self-serving. And I catch myself sometimes. I'm thinking, am I doing this because this brings me joy, or am I doing this because I want to make a difference in someone else's life? Really, really thinking about the decisions that I make. Is it self-serving, or is it serving others? Is it managing my own expectations? Or is it really hoping that someone will fulfill my expectations? And that's a constant dialogue, I think, that we should have with ourselves.
Absolutely.
I'm going to challenge you again, because I don't think you did it, but I want you to listen to the podcast after we're done.
Okay.
The whole thing.
Okay.
Okay? And then just notice the things that you hear us saying. So I am finding the place I'm in right now is swampy fog. Where I can't really recollect things, and I don't know where my car is, and I forget 90% of what I'm doing. And I think really everything I'm producing right now, I'm in the wandering stage. And I remember this 10 years ago, when I didn't have my kids at home all the time anymore, and we were going through a divorce, and I would wander from room to room. I could never finish a task. And I had no idea what I was doing. And I would get somewhere and be like, I forgot, what am I doing in here? More than just the standard, what am I doing in this room kind of thing that people experience. It's a very depth. And if I had not experienced it before, I would start to think right now I have dementia. It's that severe. And I noticed last night at home, it was happening bad. I mean, I'm starting pasta, and then I'm forgetting about laundry, and I'm like, why is this open? And what did I start? It is this wandering, I'm not really in focus. Because emotions are too high. So I've been thinking about that, because I'm thinking, do I remember 90% of what I said during the day? So when I go back and I listen to these, sometimes if you would ask me tomorrow what we talked about, I could tell you maybe 2 of them. But I don't know that I could tell you all of it. And our voices are recorded. And I need to sometimes listen to these so that I hear what I'm actually saying. Because we're both verbal processors.
Absolutely.
So it's good to listen back at your own voice and say, oh, exactly what was I saying there?
I think that's interesting.
So I'm going to challenge you to do that.
I will go back and listen to this episode. I generally do not. And it actually goes back to expectations, because I listen to it and I'm only critical of myself.
Okay, Tess, we have to change that narrative.
But it's all okay, about...
So I hope you listen to this and think, I am so... I told you about Lauren with my daughter, who, high self-assurance, said she did the podcast with Hannah. And she listened to it afterwards, and she said, I am sorry, but I think I sound really like I know what I'm doing. And her dad and I were just like, who raised this kid? It's been great to raise a confident child, but so interesting. But she said that. She was like, I think I really made a lot of sense. I sounded really good. I never feel that way when I listen back to this. But I do think some of the things we talk about are so real and so vulnerable that reconnects me to my purpose.
Absolutely.
That if one person listens to this and thinks, okay, it's okay for me to feel this door, the house door here, anger, insecurity, fear. It's okay to feel the vulnerable pieces. Then we're doing what we should be doing.
Yeah.
With every intention of what we hope for these podcasts to be and what we hope for every mentor to get out of this and take back to their mentee. Because a mentor is one of the greatest house builders here.
Absolutely.
And how awesome would this be? Oh, I wish I could have done this with Haley. Every year, twice a year, at the beginning of the year, at the end of the year, for every year that we've been together.
That's so neat.
That would be so cool. So those of you who are new mentors, maybe think about doing that.
I want to do this with my mentee. I think it'll be great. Just even to have dialogue about things that, how do you normally have dialogue about it, right?
Right.
Like, how do you have dialogue about, values and your visions for the future without, you can ask questions about that, but I feel like oftentimes we might focus on one of these areas, but not how they look holistically. Right. I think that's the beautiful thing about this, right? Is it really is that this is a whole picture of the self, right? Of everything that you're going through, everything that you've gone through, everything you currently have, and the places that you want to be going. And so I think that's it was just a really cool depiction, and I know it was.
I like the billboard.
Yeah.
Because
as much as you griped about it first.
But that may be a great way for us to reframe the question, what are you proud of, by saying what's on your billboard this week?
Yeah. That's good.
What's your billboard look like?
Yeah.
Boy, that would be a great Facebook question.
Ooh, that's good.
A great social media question. What's on your billboard this week?
What's on your billboard this week? I love it. Oh my goodness. It'll be fun. So I'll definitely post this exercise and each of the areas to draw this, and I'd encourage you to do it with your mentee and draw your own house. And if you're coming to Strengths Day, you might have just gotten a precursor into what you're going to experience. So,
But you didn't give away the next levels.
I did. I read them.
Well, kind of ish. But I think
we'll expand it more.
You could spend a great amount of time on this.
Yeah,
and I'm actually thinking I should go home and spend a little time thinking about this.
That's good. That's good. What else?
You're always bringing great things into my.
Oh, I try, man. This is not, and this wasn't even me. It was a collection of this awesome consultant and education consultant, and I'll make sure that we share her information in the comments of the episode, and I will definitely share the exercise itself, and then anything else we can probably link it on the worth mentioning board. So we'd love to see your guys' houses if we can. I do want to
send us your house.
Send us your house. Tell us a little bit about it.
Oh, you could do so many more metaphors. What's on your keys? What's your key ring look like?
The things you're responsible for.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
See what happens when we verbally process?
Gosh.
You're brilliant.
we are
brilliant.
Right.
We're going to mention Richard Rohr. I'm going to check in and make sure I get that link to worth mentioning. And then I'd like for our listeners to tell us, what do you want us to talk about on our 50th?
On our 50th.
Celebration?
Celebration.
Holy cow.
Oh, man. How do you want us to celebrate 50? 50. How should we celebrate?
What would you like us to talk about?
Yeah.
What does 50... Okay, so you don't know this skit. This is so well timed.
Oh, gosh.
Sally McNally was an SNL character.
Okay.
Molly Shannon was the person who played her.
Okay.
And she does this whole bit where she's like, I can kick, I can stretch, I'm 50. And she does it is absolutely, I'm going to send it to you so you know what it looks like. It is so funny. And while we were in Grand Lake, we used that a lot.
Oh, no.
We used it a lot because everything was amazing. But Sally McNally has this, hilarious sketch. Those of you who are listening know what I'm talking about.
Sorry, I'm giving her the blank stare. I'm sure it's great, but I just
kick, I can stretch.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
I'm 50.
So cool. Well, thanks everybody for tuning in. We will, just a couple action items. I think you summed it up well. Send us your suggestions or thoughts on how we can best celebrate episode 50. 50 cent. And a little bit of maybe how what's just been going on lately. How about a check-in? One of my goals was a mid-year, or one of my goals for the year was to read, over 30 books, which now I've reached 50. And so,
50!
Yeah, 50! Ah! What are the chances? So if you set any goals at the beginning of the year, how are you doing on those things? And then a little bit of
Terrible.
Have you been on vacation recently? Allie talked a little bit about her vacation and what were maybe some takeaways from your time away from home. And then finally, we would encourage you to do this house exercise, the DBT House. I'll send you the information. We'll make sure we tag it on our Instagram, as well as sending it in a follow-up email if you're on one of our emails. And we'd encourage you to share your reflections, maybe share what you put on your house, but also how the experience was for you, just in terms of almost creating a vision mapping of kind of your life based on where you're at right now. So thanks, everybody, for tuning in to episode 49 of Genn and Millie. If you enjoyed the conversation and the exercise you did today, consider sharing this episode with a friend to interact with us and share your responses to the questions and exercise that we brought up today. Follow us on Instagram at Genn and Millie. That's at GENNANDMILLIE. Until next time.